Thank you so much for the introduction, and thank all of you Rotarians for this amazing award. I am really thrilled to be sharing this evening with you, with my fellow nominees, and with the other recipients. I actually don't have words to express to you how honored I am here to be tonight. Rotary is an incredibly inspiring organization, and I have always loved your motto, service before self. Before I tell you a little bit about my journey into the world of technology and mobile applications, I have to tell you, I am the most unlikely award winner I could have imagined on this stage tonight. I don't have a science or technology resume. And until a few years ago, my life's work was grounded in my background in law, policy, philanthropy, and motherhood. 2 of my 3 children are here tonight. But here I am. In 2012, I began a journey that resulted in the founding of a nonprofit for the purpose of developing mobile and print resources to connect Los Angeles homeless and vulnerable youth to essential services. I'm going to tell you a little bit about the journey, and then I'm going to close by introducing you to those who shared my vision and were integral to making this journey possible. Most of you know we have a crisis of homelessness here in Los Angeles. There were nearly 6,000 youth under the age of 25 who were living alone on the streets at the time of the January 2017 homeless count. There were over 55,000 homeless adults found. And the worst part of that is, those numbers fail to catch the full extent of the problem. Homeless families tend to hide in the shadows. They're typically not counted, but LA County Office of Education tries to do so. And they found in the 2015-2016 school year that nearly 63,000 students had experienced homelessness just that school year. Also uncounted and typically left to struggle on their own are the more than 200,000 homeless and resource insecure students who attend college or university in LA County. Their loans simply don't cover the cost of housing or adequate food. These numbers come from, for community colleges, the local community college district did a survey they released in July of this year, and they found 1 in 5 of LA's community college students are homeless, and another 100,000 are experiencing such severe food insecurity that they haven't had anything to eat in 24 to 48 hours. The Cal State Chancellor's Office released a report a year and a half ago and found that 1 in 10 of our Cal State students are homeless or severely food insecure. Again, no food in 24 to 48 hours. I haven't met a youth or family who really wants to be out sleeping on their own under a bridge, in the back of a car, or on someone's couch. Our folks that are homeless tend to be young people that have run from abusive homes, former foster youth, been tossed out of their homes because they're gay, because they had challenging behavioral, mental health, or emotional issues, or even because they're pregnant. And horrifyingly, we actually have a very large number of homeless young veterans under the age of 25 in LA County. In 2012 is when my journey began. The LA City Teen Librarian System asked me for a service resource guide. Why? Because the libraries are the #1 safe space for homeless youth. And having a master's in library science does not give you the ability, or have the ability, you don't have the knowledge of where all the resources are in your community for young people that are homeless. I said I'd get them one. And then I found one didn't exist in the entire city or in the entire county. Now this, in my policy world, is called a systems barrier. But I have to tell you, I've seen others before. This one really shocked me. So I kind of moved away from my own world, and I sat down and I started creating a directory. And I created, it was 15 pages, and it was for the city library. Within 6 months, I was asked to create a countywide directory, and then an LAPD officer suggested that a mobile application was the way to go. I did own a smartphone, but it was a BlackBerry. I had never actually used an application, and my kids are laughing because they know this is true. But I decided that if I was going to try to put together a county-wide directory, I needed something that the youth would use too, not just the librarians. And I didn't know of a young person or an adult that was homeless who would walk into a library and ask for a directory of services for homelessness, please. So I started to wonder, was an application the right answer? So I put on my research hat and I found out 77% of all adults own a smartphone. The vast majority of teens and parents are constantly on their phones. We know this. And that researchers had actually done studies of homeless youth who lived on the street and found that they were not only tech savvy, they had cell phones because of the government's Lifeline program, and they all understood how to use Wi-Fi for service. So as I saw it, I needed to determine if this was the right thing. And I looked at what the criteria were for effective outreach. And I found out that people trust what's on their phone. And if they locate the help that they need themselves, they're more likely to start a journey of self-sufficiency. So I began to talk about this. And before I knew it, a tiny but wonderful team of folks began to volunteer their time to help me make this vision a reality. Soon I was conducting focus groups around the county, asking young people to help us understand what it was they'd be looking for. They helped us name the app, select the logo, and gave input on the design and the content, and refined our goals. We needed the mobile app to be free. We needed a name that did not announce homelessness, and we needed to be able to connect folks to services that did not require a referral. In November of 2015, the WIN, which stands for What I Need, mobile app launched in the Google Play Store, the iTunes Store, and on our website, a web version as well. We now have over 12 categories of services on our app that you may search for. We connect adults and youth now, and we have over 1,800 programs, and we're still growing. We are in the process of adding Helping Hands, which is direct access to crisis lines available 24/7, and push technology, so we can send announcements of job fairs and winter shelter hour changes and more to any of our users. The cool thing about technology is that we can actually scale. So we can externally add new regions should folks want to come on board, and internally, it's so much easier to add a new service. And if somebody changes their program, we change it in the cloud. We don't have to always print a new directory. That said, the print directory remains incredibly important. We did one in 2015, and we were getting ready to release a 2017, because there are some services, that, like the schools, that really want a hard copy. But during this process, it's really underscored the value of technology and how you don't have to be the science technology person that actually created that to really take it and use it to deliver a really needed service. In the homelessness field, it's easy to use, it's trusted, it empowers individuals to search for what they know they need for themselves. And it connects systems, and we can use the analytics to inform resource allocation. My vision, however, for all of this never would have grown into what we have today if it were not some incredible men and women who contributed their time, talents, and vision. So I have to acknowledge a few people, and you're going to be amazed at them. So my board's always been incredible, and one of my board members, who's just a dynamo, Jeff Hamilton, is here tonight. I'd like to acknowledge Jeff. With me from the beginning, the 2012 little directory that I did, the 2015 directory, which was 146 pages, and now our 2017, which is over 200, has been an incredible graphic designer who put it all together, set up the format, the colors, and made it somebody would want to read, and that's Jennifer Essen. The idea for this actually originated with Melissa Schoonmaker of LACO, and she couldn't be here tonight, but I have to say this because she's the one that said you should go countywide, and she's overseen the printing of all directories with her grant dollars and all the posters that we've used to market it, and is always looking for a way to get the word out. Joining Melissa as an educational ambassadors are former LACO staff and now the co-founders of a cutting-edge educational consulting firm are Jennifer Gomez-Trejo and Maria Wang de Bravo. Jennifer helped with data collection and has been an incredible ambassador. And Maria, in addition to that, volunteers as our newsletter editor, creating beautifully designed newsletters, and they're both here tonight. And I have saved for last an incredible volunteer, a woman who approached me in 2013 and asked if she could volunteer to help build an app for homeless youth that she heard I was interested in. That was the smartest yes, or maybe one of, that I've ever given. When would not be today what it is without the dedicated time and incredible expertise of Carla Buck, who is here tonight. Thank you. By the way, the reason I qualified the smartest yes, I have to kind of say that might have been to my husband 31 years ago, and he's also here, and he's been very supportive of all of this, and I just have to say thank you, Chuck. So, the reason I wanted to share that with you is that we're all volunteers. We're very tiny. You've seen most of our group, and we are thrilled to have you lifting up our work. And I just can't thank Rotarians enough for sharing our vision of empowering and connecting homeless and resource insecure youth to services. And I'd like to close by just reading you a couple of quotes from some of the young people that we've worked with. So this summer, I was doing a focus group in Boyle Heights, and a young man told me that he wished his probation officer had told him about when, that he had been released at the age of 20 onto the streets with no one to help, and bad things happened. Last week, a young woman in Venice was testing our new beta of the new version we're working on, and she told me she loved the idea of the app and how much information that it would have. And most poignantly, a young man who was part of the early development focus groups came up to me after a session. He asked to shake my hand, and he said, "Thank you. I feel like I matter today." Thank you.